All right, guys, we're here. We're back. Pit Chatter Podcast. Well, got Langley Austin here, but no Noah Hinchy. Noah Hinchy's not here with me today. This is a special um, bonus edition, I guess. It's still going to be episode 44, but it's a bonus edition of the Pit Chatter Podcast. Got a good friend of mine from a long ways back, even though he tried to hang me out this weekend, which we'll talk about in this podcast. Got the legend, Wesley Outland, on here with me. Wesley, appreciate you being on the Pit Chatter
Oh,
Podcast.
dude, I don't know about the word legend. I got so many people that call me legend. The man, I've done this a long time, 30 years, as a matter of fact, coming up next year, 29th year this year. But the word legend doesn't come to mind. I've just been blessed, Langley. I've worked hard and I've paid my dues, and I appreciate that. I really do. A lot of people call me that, but man, I'm a regular good old country boy that gets paid to call races and call
When
sports for
when
that
Bubba
matter.
Pollard says good things about you, then you're in a whole different stratosphere. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember his quote, but he had some sort of quote about you maybe going to more races than he did or something. I can't remember
yeah,
what it was. I don't know, maybe the Bull Ring show when you were on it or whatever it was. I can't remember if it was Bull Ring or some other show.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, when Bubba Pollard says
We
it, you're
used
the
to have a
man.
debate of how far we traveled, who traveled to the most races in the same year. So yeah,
You
yeah.
won most of those, I
I
assume.
think I have. I think I have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I've beat him by a lot actually.
Yeah, yeah. But for those of you that don't know, Wesley, he's a traveling announcer. I don't even know. I don't even know what series and tracks you're currently with, because I mean they change. You change them faster than you change your underwear. So I mean, I really have no idea what the current is. But I mean, you've been with everybody, Fast Track and Speed 51 back in the day, and Racing America this past weekend, and a bunch of different times with Racing America. Man, every series you can think of, UARA, maybe the cars, SRX. I mean, good Lord. If we tried to make a list of all that, we'd be here until next Christmas.
Listen, so let me break it down to everybody now.
Okay.
You call me a traveling announcer, but what I am is a freelance contractor, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
One week I might be working for this, and the next week I'm working for this track, or I'm working for this series, or I'm working for Dirt Car, or I'm working for World Racing Group, or I'm working for, NASCAR, or for, Wake County Speedway, or Dillon, or Carteret. Freelance is the word. Okay,
So,
it's a freelance. I'm basically when I'm available, where I'm needed. That's where I go to. Basically,
so to sum that up,
subcontractor.
you're waiting on a bunch of 1099s right now.
Yeah, 1099 forms are around the corner. Yeah, it's time to do
Yeah.
taxes, but I got a whole bunch of receipts. I got everything. When I get my hair cut, I get a receipt. When I get an
Yeah.
oil change done, I get a receipt. So, fuel. It's not just gas. It's any and everything that I use with my car or with work. I slap it and use it for my taxes. So yes, it's probably going to ask for an extension. Probably. Yeah.
Have you been audited yet?
No,
Well,
no,
we'll have to call the
never
IRS and
been
see if we can help you
audited.
out.
No, I've never been audited, man. I mean, for the most part, usually I mean, I don't want to go into all my business of what I make and whatnot,
Sure.
but
Millions and
if I can
millions.
break even, sometimes I got to pay a little bit back, but if I can break even, Langley, I'm happy with not making anything.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
yeah,
I mean, when you make millions like you do, you can do that. I understand. The IRS shouldn't know about all that. We didn't say that,
oh
Uncle Sam. We didn't say that.
yeah. I don't make millions, Uncle Sam. Please, so don't
Oh, no, I forgot about those cash payments. We weren't supposed to talk about those. Anyways, so man, this past weekend you spent 2 or 3 days down there at Dillon Motor Speedway, the New Year's Bash. How was the overall on that event being there?
Man, working the New Year's Bash Langley is truly a special event for me. I say this jokingly with everybody when everybody's around the Christmas tree with the friends and family and unwinding and open the gifts and presents and things. I'm just counting down the days to the New Year's Bash. Ready for the new year, ready for them to drop the ball or drop the acorn if you're from the Carolinas like I am, and then you're
Drop
ready
the
to
acorn.
get. Yeah, well, Raleigh, they celebrate New Year's with dropping an acorn in Raleigh, in the capital.
I knew y'all were a bunch of weird people, but I didn't know how weird y'all were.
Hey, listen, Mount Olive, Mount Olive, the home of the pickles. They drop a they drop a pickle
Now, see, that's cool. I
for
like
a
that. I
pickle
like
drop.
pickles, so that's cool. I
So,
mean,
but
that's the acorn. What the hell is
it's the
that?
Acorn Festival, man. Come on, like don't judge, Langley. Like, what do
Lord
they
have
do in
mercy.
Virginia? What are they doing in Roanoke? What do they do for New Year's in Roanoke?
They watch the ball that drops in New York. I mean, like all the rest of the normal people in the world.
Oh, wow. Well,
I mean,
anyhow,
if you're talking about specifically Roanoke, they commit a bunch of crimes. I mean, that's what the hell's going on over there now.
well, the New Year's Bash, Langley, is a very special event. Big thanks to Ron Barfield and Ron Sr. and Dee and Bill Flynn and so many people for having me there. Believe it or not, Langley, of the 15 years of the New Year's Bash, I've done it for 12. So 12 of 15 years, this past Sunday was my 12th time working that event. And Alan Dietz kind of grandfathers me in as the voice of the New Year's Bash. I don't per se know if I like that or like that title, but I mean, I've been to a lot. I've called a lot of those races, and I know the history, and I know the stats, and I know the info. Alan jokingly calls me a savant when it comes to the New Year's Bash because you want stats and info. I've got it. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I say this jokingly, but it's honestly the truth, Langley. The way that, well, me and Robbie Harvey at Five Flags, we're friends, and we've worked together for numerous years in the past as well, Snowball Derby and whatnot, Blizzard Series. The way he prepares for the Snowball Derby, for the Snowflake at Pensacola in December, I kind of put that same emphasis in preparing for the New Year's Bash. I have years and years of notes and stats and rosters and info. And, I have like a database of every car that's ever ran the New Year's Bash. And basically any new cars, I just put the information in the Google Docs. So,
well, when Alan Dietz says you're the voice of anything, you are.
Well, I could not do the New Year's Bash if I didn't work with Alan Dietz. I think me and Alan just make a great pair. I believe that I believe Langley in multiple voices. I believe in a team.
I agree.
I just don't like it being me by myself. Yeah. And I think having multiple people there calling the races, calling things. We had Skylar Whitfield from Race 22. He was on pit road.
He did a
I thought he
job.
did a phenomenal job, man. And, he volunteered for that.
Yeah.
He volunteered. He said, hey, man, I want to make this broadcast better. What can I do? Hey, let's throw him on pit road. I gave him an FM headset and a transmitter and one of my mics. So we hooked him up. Mark Keeler done production, and we made sure he could hear us on pit road. Had a little technical issues on Saturday, but Sunday, he was flawless. He did a great job. And, I like I said, multiple voices make the race very interesting. It was fun. Yeah,
I would agree. And Skylar did a great job. You guys all did a great job. I mean, sometimes I accuse you of making my ears bleed, but you didn't this past weekend. So,
well,
that's a high
I feel like
compliment
I've gotten older, Langley. I don't think I'm as hyper and energetic as I used to be.
Yeah, you didn't scream at me none this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, even somebody said that to me. They said, man, normally you scream, are you ready? Are you ready? You get everybody, hoop and holler. And he's like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was cold, Langley. I want to get them damn driver introductions done. Okay. I didn't want to be out there a long time. So when we came to the decision of doing the driver intros inside the cars, Ron was like, hey, look, I want to make it driver intros, but let's make it fast. Let's do it quickly. And obviously the race turned it out the way it did. I'm actually glad we did the driver intros in less than 15 minutes, but the race, it just has a mind of its own, Langley.
Yeah.
The New
What
Year's
is it
Bash,
about that race that does that?
I don't know. I mean, 2 years ago, you look at what we did, and we had 3 caution flags in 100 laps, and we went caution free the second 50 laps to the finish. And, Jeff Sparks won it, and then he failed post-race inspection, and Gary Ledbetter got the win in Tech. And then the year before, we had 20-some-odd caution flags. Now, we didn't have crazy caution flags this year. We had a good field of cautions, but it wasn't that much. But I just, and I tell people this all the time. People are going to get them keyboard warriors. They're going to get on social media, Langley. They're going to bash the tracks. They're going to bash Ron. They're going to bash the event. And at the end of the day, it's the drivers. And I don't want to say that in a bad way, but it's the drivers. The drivers control the flow of the show, in my opinion.
They do. And it goes where they want it to go. And it went exactly where they wanted it to go this time.
Langley, you were watching it. I know a lot of other people were on Racing America. I encourage you to be a subscriber. Check out the archives and the replays of it. When they go bonsai 4 wide in the corner, I got nothing but love for Jeff Melton. Yeah. Love Jeff Melton, 2-time champion. Yeah. When he dove down to the bottom of the racetrack and went 4 wide with the Ledbetters and all those guys, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Why? This is too early for this. Alan Deet said the word dumb. I said
He did.
patience.
He did say dumb.
You
He was
know,
he was correct too.
he
There
was.
was some
He
real
was.
dumbass stuff going down there for sure.
I could just imagine if Langley Austin was the race director for the event, what he'd be doing right now. He'd
No, I
probably
won't
blow a
listen. I won't
gasket.
do that job. I won't race direct. I race direct 2 or 3 races at Franklin County back in, I don't know, 2014. And
Yeah.
I took my headset off, threw it down, and I told them to find them somebody else to do it. And then I looked around and I said, well, damn, I'm the boss. Somebody got to do this job. That's when I hired Danny
Oh,
Willard right there. I said, you know
there
what?
you go.
Danny was in the flag stand, and I said, Danny, you need to get out of the flag stand and get up here. So,
Yeah. Danny's a great guy, man. How about Danny and Brandon? All those guys we've known for a long time.
yep,
I mean, I remember Brandon Willard when I was announcing for ASA, and
yep,
and Danny was flagging for the Southeast Asphalt Tour, and Brandon was a young kid just flagging in the grandstands with
yep,
his
yep,
his late grandfather. Pops was great.
yep.
But now look at where
Good
they're
man.
at now. I mean, phenomenal.
Yep. Brandon, my first memory of Brandon is him flagging in the grandstands at Concord Motorsports Park for UARA race. That's the
Yeah.
first time I remember seeing him. And man, to go from that to the UARA flagman eventually, car store flagman, I mean, everything flagman. I mean, he's flagged Martinsville.
Yeah.
He's done everything, man. It's great.
I know for a fact, Langley, I've been told he's grandfathered in at the NASCAR Valley Star 300. Like,
He
he's
should
been
be.
told he's the guy. Like, I mean, and I don't want to take anything away from Jimmy Walker or any of the great flagmen of the past that flagged at the NASCAR event. But Brandon Willard he is a show in itself, but
He
he
is.
doesn't try to make himself be the show.
Yeah.
He's another bridge of what makes the race entertaining for sure. Yeah.
He's that extra layer that,
Yep.
when something's going on, you got to be watching him.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
No, for sure, for sure. What any takes from any of the people from the New Year's Bash? Anything stand out to you? Not just street stocks, but any of the races. Anything stand out in your mind that needs to be talked about?
Man, I'll tell you what, Langley, I'm just phenomenal with the event overall. The car counts have really grown. I think car counts was off last year because of the weather.
Yeah.
There was rain, and then there was a chance of some snow right before the event. If you remember, we were kind of thinking about pulling the plug or postponing it to the following week, and then finally, you know, Ron said, look, I got a buddy of mine that works at this channel place. I got a buddy of mine that works in aeronautics and flights and whatnot. He said, I'm telling you, he's telling me, that the aircraft forecast was showing for things to improve. And we're going back to last year. And I'll be damned if it didn't. Ron, I'm driving down 95 from where I live, near Smithfield, Clayton. And we're going down into Dillon and Lumberton falling a flood, Fayetteville falling a flood, raining. Get past Dillon, get past south of the border. And I'm like, wow, there's sunshine. Holy cow.
Yeah.
It was like you just crossed over God turned the water faucet off out of nowhere,
Right.
And I mean, it was beautiful, and they got it in. And if you remember last year, it was warm and it was windy on Saturday. Sunday was cold and sunny, kind of like what we had this year on Saturday, but it was windy as hell. Yeah. And yet on Sunday it was overcast, and it was temperatures were in the upper 40s, lower 50s, something like that. But listen, and I said this jokingly, Langley, you never know what the New Year's Bash is going to provide. We might next year go down there and it's sunny and 75.
Yeah,
seriously.
You're right. Listen, the Wild West Shootout's supposed to be happening tonight, and it snowed them out in Vado, New Mexico. Weather is unpredictable.
Oh yeah, I got a friend of mine with Flow Racing, and they sent me a Snapchat, and it showed that it was snowing in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
I mean, how insane is that?
Yeah, man, just crazy. And I'll tell you what, but back to the New Year's Bash, though, Langley, the car counts were good, and not just in the street stocks, man. I mean, and I said this, phenomenal. The legend car counts were good. Yeah. The mini stock race was phenomenal. I mean, I loved the mini stock race. And in addition to that, the Challenger limited late model race. We had 27, 28 cars for that event. I mean, car counts are picking up everywhere when we run this event. Yeah.
Yeah, that event's grown by leaps and bounds over the years. It's funny to watch how these perennial events, become that event. Because the first time somebody has a race, you go, well, they didn't do too good. You know what I mean? And
Right,
then the
right.
second, third time, they're like, well, it's growing a little bit, and then just over time, it just starts to take off. And he's done a great job with that race.
He has. I mean, you think of when the first race happened, I think he had 10 street stocks the first time out. A lot of people were thinking to themselves, this is not going to match to what the
Yeah,
polar bear used to be. And
yeah,
Langley, ironically, me and Alan Dietz were the voices of the polar bear.
yeah,
And this was back during the radio days before even
yep,
streaming came around. We did the radio broadcast, and we were in the booth, and then we done pit road, and the polar bear was, a lot of people might not remember, the polar bear was on New Year's Day. Didn't matter what day
yep,
of the week
yep,
it was on New Year's Day,
yeah,
and then the powers that be said no, we want to move it to Thanksgiving,
yeah,
and I don't want to say any. I think that ruined the race.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it did. I think it took that notoriety and the special concept out of it
yeah.
because hell, everybody runs on Thanksgiving anyway, Langley.
Yeah, no, you're
So
you're right.
it
I've had a
changed
lot
it.
of success running on Thanksgiving, even against Southern National's Thanksgiving Classic, which is the biggest Thanksgiving race there is around here.
Yeah. But I
So
mean, you even look at Southern National, man. I mean, you look at where Florence Motor Speedway had 50 late model stocks, 55
yeah,
late models, and then you're lucky if you could get 25 or 30 at the Thanksgiving Classic. I mean, it's,
but I
you
think a
know,
lot of that is the timing. I think late model stock guys specifically,
yeah,
because if you look at all the other car counts, Southern National's higher in everything else.
that's true. That's true.
But the late model stock car guys specifically, I think they like to race beforehand, and they
Yeah.
don't really like to, Thanksgiving weekend they want to spend with the family or something. I don't know.
But there's so many big races now,
It is.
Langley, right? Just think about it. Back in the day, you had Martinsville, you had 2 months off, you
Yeah,
had maybe the big race at Myrtle Beach, you had 2 or 3 weeks off, and then you had the Thanksgiving Classic.
yeah, yeah.
Now you've got
They're damn near
so
every week.
yeah, now you've got Florence and the South Carolina 400. You got the Battle of the Stars. You got the Race of Champions at New River and Carteret. You've got Orange County doing a big race. You've got the big race at the Fall Brawl at Hickory. Tri-County's doing a big race. Your sanctioning bodies are having big races. Caraway's having big races. The North-South Shootout was phenomenal. And then they turn around and done their own Thanksgiving race as well, the original Thanksgiving Classic at Caraway. You've got, I mean, you take your pick, whether it's modifieds, whether it's late model stocks, whether it's legend. I mean, Langley, me and a friend were talking about Legends car racing the other day. They're running big marquee races now.
Oh
There
yeah.
is there is no off season anymore.
No, there ain't.
The idea of an off season is thrown out the window unless you celebrate, a week before Christmas and dropping the ball on New Year's. And then again, you got the Hangover at New
Yep.
River, the
Yep.
fourth edition. That was a success. I announced that race a couple of weeks ago in
Yeah.
Jacksonville. They
Yeah.
had a good crowd.
I seen the audio board. I knew you. I knew you announced. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly! And by the way, I never passed the Whoa Nelly part
Yeah.
there. So yeah,
Andy will be glad to know that. Okay.
nah, Andy's good people, man. He's a good guy at New River All American. And by the way, they're doing their Milam Winter Heat Series. I know it's postponed this weekend because of the
Yeah.
damn weather. What are they calling it? Tropical storm or not
Yeah.
tropical storm? Winter storm
Yeah.
Cora. They got
Yeah.
names for winter storms now, Langley.
Yeah. They're doing too much, man. That 24-hour weather service is just doing too much. I'm just letting you know. They got it going on. I don't know what they're doing though. I
So
don't
we're
know.
getting ready for a winter storm in the Carolinas. And by the way, I would be remiss to say, Langley, my thoughts and prayers with all of my buddies in California. I got friends in California, Derek Thorne and Jeremy Doss and the 5150 people and so many great people in California getting hit by the wildfires. That's a shame to see that in Los Angeles
It is.
for
It's a
sure.
terrible deal for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, let's get to the reason that I've had you on, and this is a bonus podcast. I mean, why are you starting to laugh already, man? Come on
Because
now.
I literally couldn't believe it either. I can't believe the messages I get from people. Seriously.
I'm still getting them, man.
Oh, Jesus.
So Saturday night, I believe it was during the Legends race, that Legends restart fiasco that they
Something
had.
of that caliber. Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. Anyways, you were on there talking to Alan, and I think I'd sent you a text about trying to fix the mic. You call me a critic, and I'm over here trying to help you. I'm not. I'm not even gonna let you know from now on. So,
I don't have
that way you don't
anything to
announce
do
me
with the
doing nothing.
board, but I don't have anything to do with the board.
Yeah, but you know who does. So
I told the powers that be, and they said, "Well, I like it the way I have it."
and
So
listen, but it was much
there
better
you
on
go.
Sunday. I will tell you that.
Maybe they took my word, took
Uh,
your word
maybe,
after.
maybe. Um, but anyway, so you and Alan were talking, and my name came up because I sent you a text, and you decided to tell the world that man, I'm running Motor Mile Speedway in 2025.
No, that's not the way it came out. I
I'm pretty
promise
sure
you.
that it is. I'm pretty sure that
No,
it is.
it's not. The way it came out was we were having a conversation, and we were talking about racetracks and what tracks were running legends and what tracks were just hopefully going to be open, and what was happening. And you did send a text message through my phone. I did get it, so I was thinking about you. And I said, hey, shout out to Langley Austin, former promoter at Franklin County Speedway. And I said, oh, by the way, I saw that he was at Motor Mile on
Mm.
social media the other day. And you never know. Maybe he might be promoting that track in 2025 or something like that. And the
Yeah,
next
I
thing
don't
you
think that's the way
know,
you said it. I don't think that's the way you said it.
I'm going to go back and check the film.
Yeah, I think you might have to. Okay.
I know the word possibly came out of my
Oh, it
mouth. I
did.
do
It
know
did.
that much. I
I
never
think
said it's a
possibly
done
came out.
deal.
I think possibly came out after you said, "Yeah, I think he's going over to Motor Mile Speedway for 2025," and then,
Possibly.
"Oh yeah,
Yeah.
possibly." Those people took you serious, bud.
Oh, all you people. I got
Apparently,
love
there was
for
a lot
all
of
of
Motor
you.
Mile people listening because I'm
Uh,
sitting there. I'm actually talking. Corey Latham called me, and I had muted the TV. I'm still watching you guys, so I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't hear it.
mm-hmm.
And me and Corey talking back and forth, and all of a sudden, I look down at my phone, and I've got this message. Oh, so you're taking over Motor Mile? I don't think anything of it. Then another message. Motor Mile, huh? And then Motor Mile and Motor Mile and Motor Mile and Motor Mile, and my phone just kept going off. And then I looked. I was tagged on Facebook by Scott
Yes.
Foley in a
Yes.
post
Yes.
about it. And then Corey decides to chime in on his
I
ignorance on there.
love Corey.
Uh,
Happy late birthday to Corey Latham, by the way.
yeah. I used an explicitive with my happy birthday to him the other day. But anyways, so my phone was lit up. So I guess since you have all the details, can you let us know exactly what's going on at Motor Mile 2025?
So let me say this. I announced at Motor Mile Speedway when it was Pulaski County Motorsports Park, Langley,
That's
and I
what
did
it
a
is
lot of.
now.
I've
Yeah.
done some SRX events and had the privilege to go over there and work with Mark and Jeff and see the people there and great racetrack, great facility. I mean, I remember my dad taking me there when it was New River Valley Speedway back in the day when I was
Yep.
little.
Yep.
And I think it's a shame that a beautiful facility there with a beautiful racetrack and the drag strip and even the go kart track is just sitting there rotten. And I think I just said, hey, look, Langley Austin was, a phenomenal promoter, and I'm not just saying that because I got you here face to face, but I thought you did a great job at Franklin County and all the other places I've ever seen you promote events, Langley. And we've worked together numerous times for years, whether it's been announcing races for you or doing things with Race 22 or Martinsville NASCAR coverage. We've
Yep.
known each other for close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And I say this humbly, they need somebody like a Langley Austin to go in there and fix Motor Mile.
Yeah.
I hate to see that place sit there and just do nothing with it for sure.
So you didn't tell us the plans. I mean, you got all the details, but you didn't tell us
I
any
don't know
plans
your
there.
plan. I don't know your
Whoa, whoa,
plan.
whoa, whoa! Don't
I
don't don't,
hope you.
don't throw me back in it again over here. I mean, you got all the details. You need to tell us. I need to know when opening night is. Okay, so I know to be there since I'm the one running
April 1st.
it. Hold on. Is that on a
Uh,
Saturday?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Hold on. I'm
April
looking
Fool's
it
Day,
up.
right? April
I'm looking it
1st.
up.
Is it
April
ironically a
1st is on
Saturday?
a Tuesday. No.
There you go. Tuesday Night Thunder. Get ready. Midweek racing in Virginia. Tell
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, jokingly, I said on Sunday that, hell, I guess I accused Langley of being the new promoter at Motor Mile. Hell no, it's going to be me and Alan Dietz. It's going to
Yeah.
be ADWO Motorsports. I already got a name for it. I got an
Yeah.
LLC already, Langley.
I believe you do. I mean, I've heard some rumors about you guys. I mean, Allen's he's looking for stuff to do right now, I think so.
He is. He is. Yeah. He's not on a full time capacity with Racing America like he used to be. I hope I'm not getting in trouble by saying that, but
Yeah,
he's kind of had the same thing happen to me. We went from a full time status to dropping to we'll call you when we need you, and that's pretty much how it is now. Honestly, Langley, that's how I stay busy, dude. You heard my conversation when we chatted for almost 3.5 hours on Saturday night, Sunday morning. So.
Yeah. While I was still getting messages about being
I was too. Scott
10 minutes.
Foley and people were tagging me and stuff as well. So yeah.
So just to be clear, you're saying I'm not going to be there now? Is that what you're saying?
I would love for you to be there.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, listen. I would love to be there too. And to be honest with you, I thought I was on a path twice to working out a deal. Just in all, just being completely transparent. I thought twice I was on a path to having a deal to operate the track 2 different times and actually 2 different ways, and both of those kind of fell to the side. And I think the county, just so, and this is one reason why I wanted to have this, was so I could give a little information, to people that are looking to, because there's a lot of people that want Motor Mile Speedway to open, or Pulaski County Motorsports Park, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Motor Mile. I probably will forever. I mean, it's been that way for 15 or 16 years before they changed it last year before for SRX or whatever. But basically, I think the county is doing what they call their due diligence. They're trying to figure out what the best, which to me it's a no-brainer, but what the best use for that facility is.
Yeah.
I mean, it in my mind, and obviously I'm simple-minded because I'm thinking racing. It's a racetrack. What the hell else are you going to use it for? You know what I mean? It's a drag strip. What the hell else are you going to use it for? So, but that's not how county, and politics and government works.
Nope.
There's a lot of red tape there. So my opinion, there could be a race there in 2025, but there will unlikely be multiple races there in 2025. And to be honest with you, and I'm just being 100% sincere, with the people who are hoping that the place opens, I don't foresee, based on the information I've been given in talking to them, talking to both the county and to the Sheeler group that manages the facility for them. I don't anticipate there's ever going to be another season where racing happens there, like a weekly style racing, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is, a weekly style of racing. I just don't anticipate ever seeing that there again, unfortunately.
So I had the privilege to call the SRX event at Motor Mile. I call it Motor Mile too, Pulaski County. And I did a whole bunch of other events as well. In 2022, I think is when it was, 2022, 2023, Jeff Rourke contacted me and he said, hey, man, I'd love to have you come out here and do some races. I did a race with the Carolina Pro Late Model Series. I filled in for them. And then the following week or a week later, they said, hey, man, can you come announce? And then I did a July 4th race, and then I did a Monster Truck Show. And so I kind of built a relationship with them. And I think that was the reason why I kind of said what I said on Racing America to the audience in regards to Motor Mile, because I'm a realist, Langley, and me and you've had this conversation. I don't think that's the only track that's about to be going to be shut down. We're already seeing it anyway.
Yeah.
Dirt, pavement, karting, drag racing, you name it, we're seeing it. Let me just paint a picture for you. And I know Pit Chatter Podcast is not a dirt program, but I'll throw one out here. Portsmouth, Raceway Park. 2 years ago, it was the prime premier place for the Dirt Track World Championship.
Yep.
It was a hub of dirt racing in the Buckeye State. It's shut down. It'll never open up again.
Yep.
Virginia Motor Speedway on your other side of Virginia, in the Commonwealth where you live, they've shut their doors down. Potomac Speedway is still TBA to be announced. Dixieland is still to be announced. There's still things that they're working on. Halifax County is still they're still closed. I know they sold the property, but the guys don't know what they're going to do with it.
I'm told they're going to race. I have heard that they will race. I seen that the other day on Facebook. Somebody
at Franklin.
No. At Halifax.
Halifax
Somebody
County.
will
Yeah,
race.
okay, yeah. So Franklin County was going to be a mystery too, but luckily
It could have
somebody
been.
got that.
It could have been. Yeah, Timmy. We had him on the podcast just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Talking about the plans for there. Shenandoah Speedway today got announced under new management, so it's good to see because that place has been in decline for quite a while. But you mentioned Portsmouth and Virginia Motor Speedway, and we're not necessarily a asphalt program. We're a regional racing program. So
Okay.
actually, Amanda Bradley from Natural Bridge Speedway is going to be one of the guests on here
Big props to
in a
her.
couple of weeks. Yes, she's
Yeah,
done a great
big
job.
props. I'm so proud that she is now the sole owner of Natural Bridge Speedway. And
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, Langley, I believe now, dude, if you're a promoter,
Yeah.
you're literally got to hope you can knock things out of the park to keep surviving. I think we're going to see more owners. Owners are going to survive before these promoters can make it.
Oh no, that's for sure. That's for sure. No doubt about it. But you mentioned Portsmouth and you mentioned Virginia Motor Speedway, and those are two prominent dirt tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, they are big name dirt tracks, have had big races and big things going on. And here we are, in a span of a month or so, and they're both gone, from racing, Yep. But I mean,
I am now following you on Spotify.
Sweet. But both of those tracks, you mentioned those, they're both gone. You know what I mean? From the racing landscape. I mean, could either one of them come back? Sure, maybe. I don't know. I don't know all the details. Hey, you mentioned here's one you got right on the Racing America broadcast the other night. I mean, you got one wrong with me, but you got one right the other night. And I didn't know this until right before, actually a couple, 2 weeks maybe before you said it on there. But man, the Ultimate Motorsports Park thing, that's a crazy one.
Yeah, I've known about that for probably over a month now. Yeah. I knew about that before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And here's something to think about.
It too,
here's something to think about. You've got a guy, and I'm not going to name no names, but you read between the lines, dirt racing community, and you'll know what I'm talking about. You got a guy that tried to promote a 50,000 to win 602 pro late model dirt race back in the spring, summer.
Yeah.
Took a whole bunch of people's entry fee money. I was going to announce that race in October. It was supposed to be the third weekend of October.
Yeah. I
know for a fact that my entry list of what I was announcing on had 212 cars.
Yeah.
So you take 212 crate late model entries. I think it was $150 entry fee if you pre-entered early. I think it jumped up to $200 after the summer.
Yeah.
And then they take that race and they announced that because of the hurricane and traffic and this and that, which is totally bogus. Because my heart goes out to everybody that got affected by Hurricane Helene.
Right.
But this guy basically used that as a total lie.
Yeah.
Postpones the race, Langley, and the track's not going to open. Well, it's done.
Listen, I don't want to. And
give me my damn money back.
And I don't listen, and I don't mind mentioning names, but I don't want to throw Barry Braun under the bus here, okay? Because
you said his name, not me.
Listen, well, I don't want to throw Barry Braun under the bus, okay? I like Barry, and I like what he's trying to do. Now, is he doing everything the way everybody likes? Probably not. But listen, Randy Weaver, great race car driver from Tennessee that won the 604 Nationals just had down at Alltech. He has glowing things to say about Barry and the series and how things were handled, okay? So, yes, there's some people throwing him under the bus, and yes, I get where you're coming from on that, okay? But at the same time, I think there's some extenuating circumstances. I'm not sure, and I'm definitely not speaking from a standpoint of expertise here, but I'm not sure that that wasn't a forerunner for what was getting ready to happen there. I'm thinking that maybe, the Kohlers, bought the track. Let's go back, okay? That's Friendship Motor Speedway that we're talking about, which was Ultimate Motorsports Park and RV Park or whatever. Yep. And the Kohlers bought that and made it that, okay? And the Kohlers own Ricky Thornton Jr. and Jimmy Owens' cars, and they've got a bunch of cars.
Jordan Kohler and Ethan Kohler and all them as well. Yes.
Great people. I think they had great intentions. But let me tell you, and this is a point I make to people all the time. It's just like, Timmy Meadows stepping in at Franklin County. The Kohlers stepping in, they've been in racing, but they didn't know shit about running a track.
That's right.
Timmy, stepping in, he's got some good people around him, but he doesn't know, and he admittedly doesn't know anything about running a racetrack. So that can go good or that can go bad, and it went really bad for the Kohlers. I mean, like the World of Outlaws race, they have the one on Friday night. I think they lost their butt, and they canceled that one on Saturday as fast as they could.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to bail out. I mean, I get it. It's harder than it looks to run these racetracks. So I don't want to throw Barry under the bus, and I'm not throwing the Kohlers under the bus when I say that either.
And I'll say this as well, Langley. I'll say this. I'll retract. Maybe Barry's going to move that race to somewhere else.
I believe he is.
I just haven't heard anything about it yet.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that there were a lot of people that were like, hey, look, why can't you just give me my money back? Why can't you just, here's my deal on the subject. And Langley, you've done it before. I've been at racetracks where you've done it. I've been at torn series races where people have had rainouts and they say, you know what, guys, just give them their money back. Let's just cancel the race. We'll give you your money back. And a race of that caliber, I don't want to say that $150 is going to make you or break you, Langley.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that in any shape or form. But I'm going to tell you something. Times are tight nowadays. You could say you're excited and proud and happy Donald Trump's coming in and he's going to be a man and he's going to fix our country and fix this and our economy and blah, blah, blah. It's going to take a while for that man to even the government, the Congress that they put in place to fix the mistakes that have been done in our world for the last decade. I'm just being honest with people here. I'm being a realist. You know it and I know it.
You're being real here. And I agree with you 100%.
A lot of people taking that $150 or $250 entry fee, Langley, and then they don't even run the race. That's money that they've lost.
Yeah.
What's $250? I mean, that's groceries now. I went shopping this morning and paid $250 and had 10 bags.
Right. Who knows if they actually lost it? I mean, it's just in limbo. They don't have it in their possession.
Right.
Hopefully, hopefully they'll run that race. I mean, let's go ahead and start a good rumor. Okay, you want a good one? I mean, since you like starting rumors, let's start a rumor. That race is going to happen at Southern National Motorsports Park. They're going to bring in dirt. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, wow. There you go. I think Michael Diaz will look forward to that.
Listen, Mike Diaz has had conversations of bringing in dirt before.
Hey, listen, I'll be honest. When I told somebody this, I think Southern National will be one hell of a high bank dirt track if they did it.
Right. Oh, it would.
I'm just being honest. And I'll tell you something else, too. The dirt late models on pavement, I think Ron Barfield knocked that out of the park this past weekend, too. I mean, you and I both know Langley, okay, he didn't have but 8, 9 cars. One car blew up, so we started 7. But, I mean.
Yeah, but he didn't pay as much as they did over at Anderson.
Woo! No. When Skip Arp won that, when Skip Arp won that Southern All-Stars event and paid $12,000 to win and had 8 cars, Ron paid for 8 cars and paid $1,200 to win.
Yeah.
And people loved it. People loved it. And that's the thing that I was trying to, we've got to get away from just having just a street stock race, right? I mean, it's a great race. It's a Legends race, Challengers race, whatever. Ron's thinking outside the box of what can I do to entice some type of entertainment to get some fans to come here that's never seen it before.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. I think he brought in about 40 or 50 fans, whether it's the pits or the grandstand.
Yeah.
That were dirt racing fans.
Yeah.
I saw a good amount of people that I know at the dirt tracks.
Yeah.
That you'd see at Lakeview or Lancaster or, at Livonia or Toccoa. They came from the dirt tracks and they came to the racetrack. And that was cool. Everybody had a blast. Everybody said, hey, man, when are you going to do it again?
Yeah. Well, and I think he has plans of doing it again, maybe not just at Dillon, too, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets all that put together. I don't want to put all of his news out there, but
But Langley, Southern National with dirt on it, that'd be phenomenal.
Oh, it would be.
That would be a great track with dirt on. I'm telling you. Yeah.
I agree with you. And there's not a lot of tracks, I believe, asphalt-wise, that could benefit from having dirt on it. There's a few of them that I think could really benefit from it, and I think that's one of them.
No, you're right. I mean, I just want you mentioned Friendship or Ultimate Motorsports Park now, and if a lot of people don't know now, that place has turned into a impound lot for the North Carolina Highway Patrol, Department of Transportation. If you get busted with a DUI or having something on your car where you get your car impounded and you're on Western North Carolina, more than likely that's where your car is going to end up now.
Well, now they'll know.
That's what's happened to the track.
You just let them know where to go to steal it back. So
Well, okay, you might get through security, but I mean, but honestly though, Langley, that's what happened, and the
yep,
reason that I knew that something was up was I was supposed to have been announcing with Hunter Weaver at the Thanksgiving
the
Thunder.
Thanksgiving, yeah. Jason Smoot's
And
race, right?
Jason Smoot told me, he
Yep.
said, Wayne Quisenberry and Jason Smoot said, Wesley, this ain't going to happen. And Jason called me, and I could say now because 2 months ago he said, don't say nothing to nobody, but it's the cat's out of the bag now. Everybody
Yeah,
knows.
yeah,
But he point blank said, he said, Wesley, I don't even think we'll ever have a race at that track again.
yeah.
And
Which
I'm
is
like,
unfortunate.
holy hell, man, we're already preparing. If you're asking what I do, I work for Dirt Car World Racing and the Modified Mafia Tour. We were
Yeah,
already preparing for like 4 races
yeah,
at Friendship
yeah.
next year.
Right.
And all of a sudden we're like, hey guys, there's this date, that date, that date. Remember that? Remember the Sydney? I want to say it was the.
Yeah,
Oh my
Sydney
goodness,
Langston.
the Sydney Langston Memorial
Yep,
Race. We were part of that. We
yep.
had the Dirt Vision. It was an unsanctioned World of Outlaws dirt car late
Right,
model event, and the Modified Mafia Tour came in.
right.
Me and Ruben and Hannah Newhouse, we all worked that event together, and it wasn't the best event, but it was
Yes,
still a good show.
it was.
I mean, it was a great event, and we were preparing to make plans for this year's race.
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't know if they're going to move the Signey Langston somewhere else or if it just goes by the wayside. I don't know, but uh, I just don't think we're done seeing this happening at racetracks, Langley. I'll be honest with you, brother. You've known me for 20 plus years. There was a time when racing was my full time position.
yeah,
And I knew after COVID, man, damn it, I gotta do something else.
yeah.
I gotta change my career. And that's why luckily I'm still in broadcasting sports, but that's why I started doing football and basketball, college, high school, Division II. Because I knew racing wasn't going to pay the bills for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
I think we're
I
just at the
understand.
beginning of this thing, man. I'm serious.
Yeah, well, at some point or another, I think racing lives on. I just don't know in what form or fashion and what
Yeah,
who
yeah,
survives
yeah, yeah.
and all that. And I think when it happens, when that time comes that it does survive, it's going to thrive again. But now when that's going to be, I don't have a clue.
Listen, we are all a demise of why the sport is in the decline that it is now.
Yeah,
People wanted faster engines. They wanted better packages on cars. They wanted better shocks.
the
They wanted
racers are their
better.
own worst enemy.
Yes. They wanted better tires. They wanted, everything that has happened and that has evolved, though it's a good thing, it is the reason why the sport's in the demise that it is. And I don't want to say the word demise because I don't want to say that it's dead and gone because it's
Yeah,
not. I'm like you, Langley. I believe there's going to be, I said it earlier. I think that the track owners that own the property are going to have a better chance of making it than the promoters that are leasing property from somebody else that owns the
yeah,
lands. I believe that. I believe that the touring series are going to slowly but surely go under.
yeah,
I hate to say it. If the tracks aren't opening,
yeah,
where's the touring cars going to go?
yeah.
And if
Well,
the tracks ain't making money off of touring races, I believe the Cars Tour is going to be okay. I think it's got a legitimate a spot in the touring level of late model stock cars. But Langley, you're already seeing it, bud. There are tracks all over that used to run NASCAR, Cars Tour, late model stock car rules. They're not running them anymore. They're
yeah.
running Chargers. They're running limited late models. They're running pro late models.
Super
I've
streets at
talked to
Lonesome
somebody.
Pine.
Yeah, man. I mean, so the writing is on the wall where literally you can't put on a late model stock car race anymore on a weekly level. You can't.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Now, I will say one area where you and I differ in opinion.
Okay.
I think the car store's in trouble. I think they have a lot of money behind them, and I think they have a lot of good things going for them. But I think right now they're getting ready to enter into a season where the majority of the people that are running it are 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that nobody knows and nobody gives a crap about. And I think they're going in the wrong direction.
Well, I
And it
mean,
costs too much. I mean, for you, I'm not gonna give out any numbers because it's not my business
sure.
to do so.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
most racetracks, I mean, like, and I'm gonna say this as delicately as I can. My opinion, I don't know how New River, I don't know how Anthony Goodyear will survive that race. It's how much it cost, in my opinion, how much it cost. I don't know how they'll survive it, and that goes for every racetrack. I don't know how they're going to do this.
Well, I don't
They've
think
run the
Anthony
cost
would
up too
mind me
much.
telling you because we had this conversation last week, Langley, and he's already working on things to find sponsors.
Well, sure,
It's
everybody
about
is.
$70,000 to put that
Yeah,
race on.
yeah, I know. And
And
yes,
that's what a lot of people don't realize. You
yeah,
know, the sad reality is a lot of people think, okay, let's book a race. You book a race, you open the gates, you warm up the hot dogs, you sell the tickets, and you're making money.
yep.
People, it don't work like that.
Well, given the number you just gave, and then you got to figure in all the other costs that's going to
Sure,
be associated with that
sure.
race, having employees and ambulance and
Insurance,
insurance. Oh God, insurance. Yeah, it
the
just
lights, cutting the lights on. I
yes.
mean, that's a major
Well,
charge when they cut them
just
lights on. You know,
with that said, I want you to I want everybody listening to think about this. How many $25-$30 tickets you got to sell to pay for that? And what's the chances that's going to happen?
yeah,
It's pretty slim. I
yeah.
mean, and so you think about that for every racetrack, and that's the one thing I'm gonna say. I don't know if you've worked with them at all since they've been going this time, but Chris Williams with the Smart Modified Tour, they've kept their program affordable. I think it's
Yeah,
less
yeah.
than $20,000 for an entire race night with them. So you probably, even if you added 2 or 3 other divisions and added in all your employees, you got a $30,000 nut for the night. You can make that.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And the Smart Modified Tour have done a phenomenal job. I know JB Cole, Jeff Button's not there anymore, but everything that JB and Chris Williams and so many people that have been behind the Smart Modified Tour doing what they've done is extraordinary. I've called many races. I've been a part of many races. I've seen them, and I've always said this: the modifieds, Langley, are a novelty. It might
Yeah.
not be a novelty to people at Bowman Gray Stadium at the Madhouse because that's their bread and butter. That's where the big boys run at. But it is a novelty whenever you bring in the tour type mods
I
to the
agree.
beaches of Jacksonville and Swansboro
Yep.
at Carteret and New River.
Hey, listen, when you bring them to Franklin County, baby, listen, let me tell you
Yeah,
something. There's more walkers and canes there than you've ever seen in your life when the modifieds roll into Franklin County. All
that's
the old
right.
people that love those modifieds, they are there, okay?
Well, listen, I remember, and we had this conversation, me and you, the other night. I remember when Franklin County, when you and Kim were running it, and you had a tour type modified race during the COVID years.
That was big.
And man, that damn place was packed. I announced those races. I remember. And
Yep.
you brought in the Myers and the Browns and all of the names of the
Danny
popular
Bone, yep,
modified people. Yeah.
yep,
And I mean, it was just a great show.
yep,
And I'll say this: Timmy and the people at Franklin County. I think I saw the other day where they have announced that Friday,
yep,
Memorial Day weekend, they finally locked the date in for the
yep,
Smart Modified Tour,
yep.
and they're going to be in for a treat. If there's anybody out there tuned in on the Pit Chatter podcast that have never been to Franklin County when Langley had it, and you've never seen the modifieds at Franklin County, you need to go to that place in that Bull Ring in
I
Callaway,
agree.
Virginia. So you'll
It's
be in for a treat. So
Oh, it's
definitely,
gonna be a big one for sure. I mean,
yeah,
I'm glad that I'm glad they got that. I'm glad they're able to keep the Kenny Minner Classic name. That's something that me and Kenny Minner Jr. came up with, and
yeah, yeah.
glad to see that legacy living on because that was one of my favorite drivers when I was a kid. Kenny Senior, he was always good to me, and I'm glad to see that legacy continue. And I love the Smart Tour, man. I'm looking for them to continue to grow. I mean, I know they got a lot of backing from Pace-O-Matic and some other companies, and I'm interested to see their growth continue, man. I really love that series, and I love the car store, and so I want to back up. I wasn't trying to say anything bad about them. I just think they're on a
Right,
path
right.
that these racetracks can't sustain. I don't know how many times these
No.
guys can lose money to try to run them just to say, hey, I had a car store race. I wouldn't do it.
Well, the bottom line is this. There's going to come a time where the promoter and the series touring promoters are going to have to come together, and they're going to have to figure out what we can do.
Yeah,
Whether it be give them a discount, whether it be you take a brunt of the damages. And when I say by damages, I mean, instead of it being the promoter coming in and buying the whole damn race, let's do it 50-50.
yeah,
Or let's do 70-30. There's got to be some type of a leeway where the promoter out there can say, okay, I want to do your race because you're trying to help me. The
yeah,
touring level, and here's the sad thing about touring races, except for the modifieds, and we had this discussion earlier, Langley. You go to a racetrack, and I hear it from kids all the time, adults all the time, whether you go to dirt, pavement. You go see a late model race when you go to, anywhere, Sonoya, Lancaster, whatever.
Yeah.
You see limited late models. You see pro late models, 602, 604. You see steel block late models. You've seen 4 late model classes, and every one of those damn cars look exactly the same. And
Yep.
people are like, well, what I just saw the late models. What is this about?
Yeah.
I just, oh, well, this is this car. And then as the announcer, our job is to explain this is the difference between these cars and these cars and these cars. Well, here we go, guys. We're back in this box where everybody wanted to, try to better racing, and this is what you've ended up with.
Yeah.
You've ended up with now 35 602 cars and maybe 9 steel blocks or 5 limiteds. And the same things happen with late model stocks, Langley. I'm telling you, dude. I mean, you just hinted on it a minute ago. The Cars Tour, they're going to have good numbers. I think they'll have 20, 25 pro late models. Here we go. We got Saps now in the rooster in the hen house with the Carolina Pro late models. Carolina Pro ain't going nowhere. They just announced the other day that they're running a race on March 15th at Caraway. Yeah. So here you go. You got Cars Pro late models. You got Saps Pro late models. You got Carolina Pro late models.
I mean, I got to ask you, and I'm not trying to throw them under the bus when I say this.
No.
I like that. I like that they're trying to do something, but man, can we find a worse name than Saps?
I don't know why.
Lord,
I don't know
mercy.
who come up with that name. I don't know if they were just,
somebody should have called somebody and said, "Hey man, does this sound good?"
I don't know. I mean, Lord, I like the idea, and the Higgins and the people there at they're great people at Tri-County. Phil Combs, all of them are great.
Yep. And they got Keeley involved. With
I mean, Keeley's not with cars anymore, but she's over there with that series, and I think she'll do good. She's got a lot of knowledge with what she's done on the marketing and the promoting scale of things. But, I say this, Langley, it just can't be about the Cars Tour anymore, or any series for that matter. You've got to make these races an event.
Yeah.
You've got to make these fans want to come to these racetracks and be enticed, entertained.
I agree.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, and you know this, Langley. I'm going on my 4th year as the voice of Wake County Speedway. And I thank the good Lord above to be one of the announcers there. I went to Wake County Speedway as a kid. It's a track that I think the world of. Yep. Thank you to Charlie Hanson and Mr. Andrew Tyree and Mr. William Brown and everybody that has me there, Mark Arson. But I will tell you this, Langley. Car counts are not great at Wake County.
No.
But we find a way to make it entertaining.
Yep.
We do the pyro, we do the smoke, we do the fire, we do the things for the kids, we do
I agree.
Music trivia, we do all sorts of things. And there's people that they tell me all the time, I had a ball. There might have been 4 late model stock cars there, but damn, I had a great time.
Yeah, that type of event is a lost art. It really is. Most racetracks have moved on from that. They're not trying to do that. We're just trying to have a race. Well, that's not what sells tickets. I totally agree with you. And, the great thing about Wake County, though, and one advantage that Wake County has is 4 cars can be a better race there than, anywhere else.
Yes. But for promoters Charlie Hanson and Andrew Tyree and William Brown, what their philosophy is, Langley. All right, we got the fans. Damn it, how do we get the cars?
Well, listen, that's every racetrack's got one version of that or the other. There's some racetracks that have the cars and can't get the fans.
That's right. That's right.
And I've seen that be a problem over the years. And I mean, it is what it is.
I think Langley, honestly, boss, it's all about promotion. Yeah. I think it's all about using social media in a good way, not a bad way. But I think it's also about still doing the old timing advertising. Yeah. I mean, I remember back in the day, and this was not long ago, where we still had Facebook and X and Instagram and websites and message boards. But, Pete and Sherry Walton, when I was announcing for USCS, we go out in the middle of the night in the parking lots at Walmart or in the shopping mall centers and put flyers on cars, doing radio ads, doing TV ads. A lot of people have kind of pulled away from that. And I believe you got to promote. You got to promote. You got to lose money to make some money. Listen, and I believe that.
We did flyers and radio ads and TV ads and different things at different times. And I'll be honest with you, what keeps most of them from doing it is the same thing I'm about to say. Almost every one of those campaigns that we did were unsuccessful. The only campaigns we've had that have been really successful are Facebook ads in recent years. Sadly.
And that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's a new era.
It is.
I mean, I don't know how I can say this, Langley, man. I feel like that I was, and I feel like you were a part of it as well. I feel like we were at the young age of where late model stock car racing was at its pinnacle in the late 90s and the early 2000s.
Yes.
And we were there. We were a part of it. We remember what it was like to have 90, 100 cars at Martinsville. We remember the crazy races between the Baggerleys and the Pattersons at Orange County and South Boston. We remember the Jamie Cottles. We remember the Lee McCalls. We remember just the stories that we remember. It's just we've now gone to, I don't want to say pansy racing by any stretch of the imagination, Langley, but it's just you got to save your tires. You got to save your fuel. I was watching Daytona before I went down there to Dillon for the New Year's Bash. And I was watching WKA Kart Week. And I used to announce WKA Kart Week at Daytona. And I used to be a part of it. And a majority of all the races, Langley, were bump and run, taking people out.
Yeah.
Ride, stay single file, get up to the guy, put him in the hay bale.
Yeah.
That's not racing.
I mean all the kart racing now.
Right.
Hey, the one thing I got out of your conversation there?
What?
You're old and you're trying to pretend like I'm old too. Damn it, Wesley.
I don't want to say that we're old. I want to say that we're you said legend. I say veterans. We're veterans of the sport. Well seasoned is very good. Yeah, so, hey, listen, I'll be honest, Langley. I look at our sport and I don't want to say that I'm a negativist about it, but I realize the writing's on the wall. Yeah. And if we don't figure out a way to fix it, whether it be the drivers, the promoter, I think everybody's got to come together. I know that they're trying to put together this North Carolina Short Track Coalition, and I read some of the fine tape on it. I thought it was going to be a really cool thing. Yeah. But it's not just got to be the promoters, Langley. It's got to be the touring promoters. It's got to be the drivers. It's got to be the race. We need the support from the race fans. Yeah. It's not the race fan support is not as big as it used to be. Yeah. I can't figure it out, Langley. They pack the stands when the North-South shootout comes to town at Caraway. But during a regular show, they don't have nobody. So
hold on, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think that any other race at Caraway is as well promoted as the North-South shootout?
So there's,
and I'm just using them for an example because
I would say that the midweek. I think the midweek show for the Cars Tour is very well promoted. I've been a part of that on the PA side of things, and I think we've proved the point. Good. The crowd is phenomenal,
well, listen,
and we proved that you can have a race on midweek. But another thing is it's on 4th of July. So is that the loophole?
Yeah. Well, but here's my point. Okay, the well promoted races do well. I mean,
sure.
My modified race, the Kenny Minter Classic at Franklin County Speedway last year.
Yeah.
It was the best race we promoted. Guess what? It was the most people in the stands too. I mean, this whole thing's not rocket science, but the one thing the racetracks have got to figure out how to do. Well, there's multiple things they got to figure out how to do, and I don't have enough time to tell all of them. But one thing that they all have to do is they have to get out of weekly racing. They have to get out of trying to race all the time. They should race less and make them count more. It's just my opinion.
So I got to ask you this question:
going to race every week.
I got to ask you this question. Do you think Anthony Goodyear is going to be smart racing at New River 50 weeks out of the year?
I mean, I haven't seen that publicly out anywhere.
He said that's what he's going to do. He point blank said it. He said, my intentions is to race every night of the week, every Saturday night. I'm going to race.
Well,
we're good friends with Andy Marquis, so you know that. Yeah.
I'm glad you're putting that out there in the public, not me. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and give you my opinion. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Believe me, I've tried to talk him out of it as well. But here's the deal. And listen, Langley, this is where I get where Anthony's coming from. So just let me throw this out here to you, and you'll probably say, okay, well, maybe I can understand why he's saying this. He tried to put together a deal where you had the East Coast Racing Alliance, if you remember ECRA. I don't think it's coming back after next year or this year.
After last year, you mean?
Yeah,
We're in 2025 here, bud.
Carteret and New River All America. They're working together, working together. Well, there was like I think a span of 8 weeks where New River was scheduled for races Langley, and they got rained out. They couldn't reschedule for the following weekend because they had committed to running at Carteret. So Carteret came out smelling like a red rose,
That's
and they
that's
had a great car count.
that's just part of it. I mean, it's like going and buying a lottery ticket one week and you buy a dollar scratcher and you win $2, and next week you go and you buy two lottery tickets and you don't win anything. It's just part of life.
Yeah, but when you go 8 weeks without running a race, though, Langley, I mean, you got to think
Hey,
that they're.
I've been there. I've been
I
there,
know, I
and it's
know.
listen. You just got to take the lumps when they're there. 2013, my first season at Franklin County, every damn race that could rain out rained out, and the ones that didn't rain out, they rained everywhere but the racetrack, and nobody came. Okay, so it's okay. It's just it's part of it. You just got to live with it, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think Anthony's, my opinion, if this is really his plan, he is taking the wrong approach because this will not work. The racers cannot afford it, and he cannot make it work. I mean, and if he does, I'll eat my words, okay? But I
We'll
don't think
both
so.
eat crow. We'll both eat crow for
Yeah,
sure.
I think this is a really stupid idea that should be thrown in the trash and never thought about again.
Uh, do you? I'm gonna ask you the question here, Langley. Do you feel like maybe the way for tracks to survive now is not doing the weekly stuff anymore, but
Yes.
doing like big marquee shows? But then how does the tracks make it year round by just doing one, two, three shows a year?
You got to make them count. You know what I mean? Just like you were talking about, a minute ago about, the North South shootout. You got to make them count. They got to make money. And that's all there is to it because racing every week, every other week, or hell, every 3 weeks is probably not a great plan. I mean, once a month, I think most racetracks would be good. 10 races, maybe a max that I would think would be good. I mean, you just gotta
Wow.
you gotta work it. I mean, I hate it, but I mean, I think that's what it's got to get to,
No, no,
and they
I
all got
think
to
you're
get
I
back to
think
the
you're right.
basics.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think one big problem is they all got to get back to the basics. What's the entry level division at most racetracks?
Well, I mean, you would say it used to be U cars and Legends Bandoleros.
Yeah, well, a legend car is $20,000. Okay,
Yeah, that's
a
ridiculous. It's
Bandolero car is
ridiculous. Yeah,
eight or nine, $10,000.
yeah.
A true U car today is a $6,000 to $10,000 vehicle.
And that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure that
That's
Joe
a
Henry,
travesty.
is not going racing off of that. Now, if you got a $2,500 race car, that's an entry level class.
Yeah.
And sadly, that's more money than some people have to spend. But a $2,500 race car is doable. A $3,500 race car is doable. Anything above that's not. And every racetrack
Yeah.
needs an entry level division that fits that mold. And most
And
of
I'll
them
be
do not
honest
have
with
it.
you, Langley, at the New Year's Bash, these street stock cars, man, these guys are putting a lot of work and
Oh, that's the
time.
new late model there.
I mean, seriously.
I mean, that's the old late model and the new late model
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Street stocks are basically what late models used to be, and now they've become the new late model because they're the expense of what late models was 10 years ago.
And what's so crazy about it, and I've seen it at tracks across the country, and even the New Year's Bash at Dillon this past weekend, Langley, is you've literally got four-cylinder cars. They have the four-cylinder engine package, but they got a late model body.
Yeah,
That you would think that that's a damn late model car running with the mini stocks. Seriously.
yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't know, man. It's a wild world we have in short track racing right now. And like I said, it's all got to get back to the basics. And to that end, I want to give a lot of credit to the new management. I don't think they've put out there who the new management is at Shenandoah yet, so I don't want to be the one to put it out there. But the new
Yeah.
manager will be on the Pitch Chatter podcast on Tuesday. Um, but they're going back to the basics, like their divisions that they're planning on running.
I remember when they used to be on television, Langley, back in the day, and they had the mini cups, the mini cup
Yep,
stars of America.
yep,
They used to have 35, 40 damn mini
yeah.
cup cars. I mean,
Everybody used to have a lot of mini cups. That fell apart.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
mean,
but their divisions, they're gonna run my stock fours from Franklin County. They're gonna
okay.
run my any cars from Franklin County. They're gonna run vintage cars and the Virginia Sprint cars and the Super Cup series, which is under new management's going to go there, and then I think they got Legends cars and Bandoleros. So they're keeping it basic. There's no late models. There's nothing, no big car, no big money class. And I think it's where you got to start. Yeah, I think if I was
Yeah.
going to take over a racetrack today, and it had either been in dismay or it had been shut down,
Yeah.
I think that's similar to what I would do.
And I'm going to tell you, Shenandoah is a beautiful racetrack, Shenandoah Valley Speedway. I announced there, oh my goodness, we're going way back in time now. Me and Tommy Walls and the USAC days. The USAC days, I think it was 2009, 2010. We announced the USAC over there at Shenandoah Valley, and I'm like Langley. It's a beautiful facility. The racetrack is an awesome track. It's a great surface.
Yep.
And what gets me is it kind of reminds me a lot of with Raceway, the Allegheny Mountains, the beautiful scenery.
Oh, it's picturesque for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat a beautiful sunset at a racetrack for sure. No, Langley, I got to ask you, dude, Newport Speedway, how excited were you to see that Newport's back? And I know that they've gone through, I don't want to say some loops and hoops and hurdles because of Hurricane Helene and other things that's going on. But, man, I can tell you that place I think it looks more damn better than it did when we were racing there back in the day with passing UARA stars.
I mean, I kind of enjoyed the junkyard look back in the day. I mean, it was. Listen, the place is beautiful now. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not. It is absolutely
right.
Now. But man, there was nothing cooler than driving. I think Corey Latham, the first time he went there with me, I think we were driving up in there, and he goes, "Man, where are we going?" I said, "This is the racetrack." He said, "No, this is a junkyard, man." And it was a junkyard around a racetrack.
Because you drive through like trailer parks and salvage yards to get to the racetrack, literally.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And what a cool place. And man, Chuck Ward and his staff, they've done a great job of getting that place beautiful. And man, they got a lot of big races. I mean, that ASA National race they're going to have. I can't imagine what that's going to cost, and I hope it pays off for them.
And I'm going to tell you, we want to talk about late model stocks in Langley. I want to hit on the stars, the Stars National Tour, ASA Stars, whatever. Bob Sargent, Adam Mackey. I know all those guys. Great people. Been working with them for a number of years. You're taking a gamble bringing back super late models to the Carolinas.
Oh, sure.
It's. I'm surprised they pulled it off at North Wilkesboro. Hickory. You see the super late models twice a year now when they run that Stars race on Memorial Day and when they run the Easter Bunny 150. And, Langley, that's a race that's been around for a long time. And that's when the Pro All-Star Series comes down with those guys, American Canadian Tour. And you can actually see it on Racing America, ironically. And the super late models, it's not what it used to be. I mean, I was talking with somebody about that the other day. I was like, man, I remember back in the day where you had 25 super late models at Southern National or Caraway or the Big Ten Series. Yeah. It's gone. The All-Pro Series days are gone.
They are. But, it's just like everything else. The cost is, ran it into the ground. But they're doing a great job. That new program they've got.
It is.
You got to make a $10,000 commitment, and I mean that's nothing to those big teams that are going to go.
And I think they'll end up with. Honestly, Langley, you've been to Newport like I have. You get 15 super late models on that track. That's going to be a damn good show.
Oh,
you don't need to have 30 cars out there because it'll be calamity. It'll tear things up left and right. But if you can get 15, 20 committed cars, I think that will be a big event. It just reminds me. It's just like North Wilkesboro, Langley. I was a part of North Wilkesboro when they brought back the racetrack revival. I was one of the announcers.
Yep.
And that place was packed, and it was phenomenal. And now look what's happened the last 2 years. Even with bringing NASCAR and the All-Star race back, now when they run the modifieds or the late models, you don't see the big crowds.
I mean, it's just how it works. I mean,
right?
Listen, you only catch lightning in a bottle once.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
It's not going to happen every time. So
yeah.
I mean, listen. I caught lightning in a bottle at Franklin County like the whole season in 2020, and then listen, the lightning left, and I was just left with an empty bottle. Okay, I'll just let you know.
And you still kept the bottle. You still kept trying to fill the bottle week after week. I know you did. Yeah.
I tried. I mean, I tried. I'd have been better off peeing in it to try to fill it up. I tell you, 'cause it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. But,
man.
Anyways, we've rambled on for a long time. I want to get us out of here. But man, I appreciate you coming on tonight and talking to me. I mean, I don't appreciate you announcing that I was going to take over Motor Mile or anything, but otherwise, I mean, I still love you, I think.
In all seriousness, I hope that you do get the damn thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really do. I hope the stars align somehow, some way where it works out for you, Ken, because if Al or Mark Sheila or any of them people are tuned in or listening, or somebody knows somebody that can send this Pit Chatter podcast to them. Langley's good people. Kim are great people. They've done phenomenal jobs in the racing industry, not just with Race 22, but obviously with Franklin County and anything that Langley's been involved with. And I think you should get it. I think you should get it for sure. I hope it happens when you say, "Damn it, Wesley, I got Motor Mile," and I'll say, "I told you so."
I'm kind of enjoying doing the Pit Chatter podcast and selling t-shirts, to be honest with you.
Selling T-shirts, man, that's got to be pretty cool, though. That's a different world than doing the media side and doing the.
Nobody cusses me in that deal. Nobody cusses me in that deal.
Well, I mean, you just give them what they want, right? I mean,
exactly. But I tried to give them what they wanted when I was a promoter too, and they cussed me because I gave them what they wanted. You know what I mean? And as a media member, man, I got cussed a lot.
Yeah, I still get cussed out.
Yeah, that's all good. I'm glad it's you and not me. I'm enjoying not getting cussed. The only person cussing me out now is my wife, so it's all good.
What was the first thing you called me on the phone Saturday night when you called me late at night? What was it?
I'm not sure.
You got the beeper ready, the GD beep.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was good, and I wasn't mad. I was just
No, we were laughing our asses off. No, I mean, but listen, I will say this though, my beef is where people take things and they twist it.
Yep.
Where things can be said and you can misconstrue it. Okay, I get that, but to literally, I literally said the word possibility, and the reason why I said it for our audience out there was Langley, man. If you know Langley does shit to tease people. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Whoa, what do you mean? What do you mean? Whoa.
So there was a picture that was on Facebook, and you posted it.
I can't just post a picture.
I know, but you know how the world is in the racing industry, though, man. I literally saw you post a picture, and that's the only reason why I said something about Motor Mile, because I thought about that.
So you're saying you fell for my trap? That's what you're saying?
I fell for your damn trap. You're exactly right. So I'm just as guilty, hook, line, and sinker.
Listen,
but you do.
Listen, all the rest of these people fell for your trap.
You put little teasers out there sometimes. You've done that. You've done it. I remember we used to do stuff like that to promote Franklin County or promote big races.
And sometimes I'm doing it because I'm actually going to say something, and sometimes I'm doing it just to see what y'all come up with.
Oh, yes. So, anyhow, it was fun. I hope, like I said, Langley, I hope you get it. I hope you do. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
man, I see your pictures back there behind you in your office, man. Is that who was that in the background? The 74 and the 44. Who was that? Was that Southside Speedway, by the way?
Oh, that is Lonesome Pine, and that is Caleb Holman and Nate Monteith coming across the finish line side by side. And if you look over my other shoulder, I don't think you can see it very good, but it's Philip Morris and Frank Denny coming to the line with Philip Morris beating out. I mean, just by I don't know, 12 inches or so, beating him at Motor Mile Speedway.
Motor Mile, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I see it right there at the stripe. So
yeah, I intentionally put that photo of Motor Mile over my shoulder so you'd think I was going to make a big announcement here.
I'm sure you just had it hanging up in the wall for sure. So
yeah.
But you know what?
I had to move it down so I can have that right there.
But I think to myself though, in closing, Langley, we've been privileged to see some many races, some awesome races. And I tell people this all the time, and they're just like, oh man, you got this and you got that. How cool is this? I'm like, brother, you Cars Tour? I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings at the Cars Tour, but the late 90s, early 2000s, late model stock car racing was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cars Tour is great in this day and age. Don't get me wrong.
Listen,
but back in the day, the late models were phenomenal, dude.
I mean, go back to the UARA. I mean, the UARA was unbelievable.
That's how we met each other.
Yep. Yeah. Worst day of my life. Damn.
Hey, speaking of URA Langley, do you remember that time that you told me we went to Kingsport and you told me not to jump over the damn wall? Remember that wall on the front straightaway?
I don't remember. That's a
Remember
long ways down, though.
that was a long way. I about broke my damn leg. You remember that?
Listen, I don't remember it specifically, but I just went to Kingsport in November, and my son, went with me, and he was up in the stands, and I was in the pits, and he come down, and he was going to jump off, and I'm like, whoa, 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 don't do that. That thing is a lot further down than you know.
Don't have a Wesley moment, whatever you do, because I
like,
jumped
walk
about
down to the other end.
Listen, for people that have never been to Kingsport, I'm telling you, go down to the retaining wall down at the front straightaway, look down at the catch fence. It's probably about 8 feet in the air.
I mean, your dumbass obviously didn't look down.
No, my ass
You
jumped
thought it was
off
just a normal
I landed
racetrack.
the wrong way, dude. Yeah, I landed the wrong way. That's what I was trying to interview. What was his name? Clint King, the 07. Remember when he won the URA race there?
Yep. I mean, I guess I don't remember it, but I guess I tried to save you, but I couldn't.
So somebody told me, they said, hey, look, you need to leave. Something happened. I remember that much. We were calling the race in the booth, and something happened. There was a late race caution. And because somebody told me, hey, Wesley, when you finish the race, you need to leave about 5 laps or so because you need to walk down the stands, the concrete grandstands, to go to turn 3, I think it was, or turn 1 to cross over. Turn 1 to cross over.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll jump over that wall. And I remember you telling me that. It was, you better watch yourself, because during practice session, I think it was, I tried to hop over the wall to get into the tower.
Yeah.
And dummy me, young Wesley, jumps over the wall, and yeah, thank goodness I didn't break no bones. So
one time I went to Travelers Rest Speedway to look at it, to take it over. This has been this has been 18 years ago, probably. Okay. Something like that. I know the guy who owned it, he may still own it, I'm not sure. He's a Cody Brothers Dog Food. That's it. That's who owned it. At the time. I think that was his name, Cody Brothers.
Yeah, I don't think he has it anymore.
But anyways, he told me, he said, well, just step down off this. Just step down over here off this wall. I said, I can jump right here. I mean, it wasn't that high or nothing, but I'm going to tell you what, my back still hurts from that, okay? That was 18 years ago. I about put myself out. We were doing the souvenir stand at Franklin County Speedway, so when we came back the next day, I was supposed to go sell souvenirs at Franklin County, sell all the merch and stuff, and I couldn't even get out of bed. My back hurt so bad I couldn't even get out of bed. It took me a couple days. So I've been there. I've been stupid. So.
We were at one time for sure. Definitely. Yep. We still are, man, but we're having fun doing what we're doing. Somebody always tells me, a buddy of mine down in Georgia, Jacob Reeves, redneck announcer, he always says whether it's a good day or a bad day at the races, it's still a good day when you're at the racetrack. Yeah. Whether it's a long night or dealing with the weather or whatever, it's always a good day at the races.
Listen, I tell people all the time that if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And
that's right.
I can't remember working a day in my life.
That's right. Just you know about it when the 1099 forms come in, the W4s.
Yeah. I just ignore those. I'm just Uncle Sam. You can keep
them.
Really? We're good. No, I wish I could. I would make a lot more money if I could do that.
Like I told you, man, as long as I can break even at the end of the year, I'm happy. Sometimes I got to pay a little bit back, but normally I don't. So
I mean, millionaires are like that. Like I said. So
I am not a millionaire announcer. Please don't ever say that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Now you're making false assumptions.
I am. I try to. All right, let's get out of here. We'll continue this conversation off of the Pit Chatter podcast. We're out of here for episode 44.